All right, this is Module 1, Lesson 1. We're going to be talking about rates and ratios. So before we begin, we're going to review some terms from last year in 6th grade math. So the first one we're going to talk about is a ratio. This is an ordered pair of numbers which are not both zero. So a ratio may look like this, where you use the colon symbol. You can also use fractions, or you could use words like to, A to B, something like that. All right, two ratios right here, A to B and C to D, are going to be called equivalent if there is a non-zero number C such that C equals C times A and D equals C times B. For example, the two ratios are equivalent if both have values that are equal. All right, that's a lot of words. All you have to know, they're equivalent when they are equal. All right, a ratio relationship between two types of quantities, such as miles and hours, can be described as a rate. So when it's two different types of quantities, you're talking about a rate, miles per hour. Now, just the numerical part of that, so in this example, it would be 2.5. We call this the unit rate, and it's the simplified ratio. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this using some examples. Let me move this up. All right, so trial right here, what we were doing was timing ourselves when we were passing out papers. Now, a class actually did this, and this is the results they have. So the first column says that we have to fill in is the ratio of the number of papers to the time. So here's the number of papers, here's the time. So we can write this ratio as 24 to 12. Now remember, I told you there was different ways to write this. You can also write this using the word to, so 24 to 12, or you can use a fraction, 24 over 12. Now the rate is the simplified, the rate is the simplified version of this. So 24 divided by 12 is 2, and that would be labeled in papers per second. So the rate has that label on it. The unit rate is just the numerical value, which would be 2. All right, so let's do this again with trial 2. This time they passed out papers, and they had 24 papers in 11 seconds. You can also write that using words or fractions. Okay, when I divide this, now I don't have a calculator, so I'm going to do this by hand. 24 divided by 11 goes in twice. Bring down the 0. 12 goes into 20 once. Bring down a 0. Goes in 8 times. Okay, we're going to stop there. So this is actually, if we round to the nearest tenth, 2.2, and that's papers per second. That's the rate. The unit rate is just the numerical part, which is 2.2. All right, trial 3 is 24 papers passed out in 10 seconds. Remember, you can write it using the word to, or you can write it using a fraction. All right, I'm going to divide this again. So 10 goes into 24 twice. Bring down the 0, and it goes in 4 times. So that's 2.4. That's papers per second. The numerical value of that is just 2.4. All right, and the last one is 24 to 8. So 24 to 8, or 24 over 8. And one last division problem here. 8 goes into 24. That would be 3 times. We don't even need to do that by hand. And the numerical value of that is 3. All right, on the next page, it's something very similar, but we're going to be comparing boys to girls this time. In class, we filled in the data for our class to come up with the ratio. But let's just finish with class 2. Now, class 2 has a ratio of boys to girls, so boys are first, girls are second, and the order does matter. Now, you can simplify that to 6 to 5. Those would be equivalent ratios because I could divide both of these numbers by 2 and give 6 to 5. The whole 7th grade, there are 120 boys, 106 girls. Now, that also reduces, so the equivalent fraction is 60 to 53 if I divide both by 2. All right, it says create a pair of equivalent ratios by making comparisons of quantities discussed in this example. So basically what it wants you to do is take these and make equivalent ratios. We already did this. So 12 to 10, 12 boys to 10 girls is the same thing as 6 to 5. Those would be equivalent ratios. We said 120 to 106 is the same thing as 60 to 53. So those would be equivalent ratios. All right, so let's talk about unit rates. It says to find a unit rate, we are simply going to divide. Now, we don't have a calculator. We're going to have to divide by hand, but that's how you mathematically find unit rates. So let's look at part A. Adrienne biked 24 miles in 3 hours. She biked at a constant speed. How many miles did she ride in 1 hour? So we're talking about comparing miles to hours. It says 1 hour. Now, according to the definition of a unit rate, 1 always goes on the bottom. So that means my hours are going to be the units that are on the bottom. Miles are my other units. So this is going to go on top. Now you're going to see that I always like to label this so that I know what I'm dividing. So this is called my label, and you're going to be required to have that on all of your homework and throughout this whole unit. All right, so now I know my numbers are 24 miles, 3 hours. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. Let's give that a label, 8 miles per hour. All right, part B. Julia reads 52 pages in 2 hours. What's the average number of pages per hour? Okay, so let's make our label, pages divided by hours. I know that because the word per means divide. So pages per hour. Now let's fill in our numbers. 52 pages in 2 hours. That gives us 26. Now let's label it. That's pages per hour. All right, moving on to the next page. Okay, example number 4. Now it says, which is the better buy? So this one is talking about Value Mart. It's advertising a back-to-school sale on pencils. A pack of 30 sells for $7.97, whereas a pack of 12 is $4.77. So which is the better buy? So now in order to figure out the better buy, we have to figure out the unit rate for each. So let's start with finding the unit rate. Now we're going to always divide money by whatever you're talking about. So money always goes on top. So this is the number of pencils. So my label here would be money divided by pencils. Let's start with the first one. It's $7.97 for 30 pencils. All right, so let's actually divide that. Okay, $7.97 divided by 30. Okay, 30 goes into 79 twice, which would be 60. And 30 goes into 197 7 times. No, it doesn't. It goes in 6 times, which would be 180. Bring down the 0, so 30 goes into 70 twice. And that would be 60. And we can stop there because we're talking about money. So we only need 2 decimal places, so we can stop after that first one. All right, so this would give us 26 cents if you take a look at the 2. I'm sitting here very confused at why this is wrong because I didn't subtract right. 197 minus 180 is 170. So it doesn't go in twice. It goes in 5 times because that would be 150. Now, some of you that are sitting there going, you were wrong with your division, that would be why. So it's not 26 cents, it's 27 cents. And that's per pencil. All right, so let's look at the 12 pack now. We have 4.77 for 12 pencils. So now let's do our long division. Hopefully I do it correctly this time. Okay, 12 goes into 47 3 times. 47 minus 36 is 11. Bring down the 7. So 12 goes into 117 9 times. And 12 times 9 is 108, which when you subtract, you get 9. Bring down the 0. 12 goes into 90 7 times. Okay, and 7 times 12 is 84. All right, I'm going to stop there because I can already tell that this is going to be 40 cents per pencil. Now that we've found the unit rate, we just have to decide which one's the better buy. Okay, so see how this pencil pack is cheaper per pencil than this one? That would be your better buy. So we're going to just write a sentence saying the 30 pack of pencils is the better buy. All right, now I'm going to have you try this one on your own. Okay, it's just talking about what we just learned about the better buy, finding the unit rates to see which one's the cheapest. I'm going to have you hit pause on the video, do all of the work, and when you're done, just check your answer by hitting play again. All right, so I just told you that we're going to do money on top, so money over ounces. Okay, and I'm going to start with the Nutty brand. So that's $2.19 divided by 12. Okay, you should have gotten 18 cents per ounce. Now Grandma's was $2.79 for 18 ounces. So that one is 16 cents per ounce. B's is $4.69 for 28 ounces, which comes out to be 17 cents per ounce. And Save-A-Lot brand is $6.60 for 40 ounces, which comes out to be 17 cents per ounce. So which one was the cheapest? If I'm looking through that, that would be Grandma. So I'm going to say Grandma's brand is the cheapest. Per ounce. All right, I'm going to have you start the homework and we will go over it in class tomorrow. Good luck.